Hi, hello. Welcome to a new book review. I'm so excited to tell you about this one, and let's go into it. So, have you ever heard of a Jewish Chinese? Well, now it seems normal, but let me tell you about a time when that was not really acceptable, and we're going to see that in our book today, which is Gushin Mona in the Promised Land. It was published in 1996. Now, as usual, I give you a little bit of an idea about the writer. So, Gushin, who is also the daughter of two Chinese immigrants, just like the main character in our novel Mona, and you can see bits of her life through this novel. And as any maybe typical Chinese parents, they would like to see their daughter becoming a doctor or a lawyer or something in that field. Gushin turned out to be a writer, and she loved writing, so she chose to do that, and then she continued her life doing that. It's been a long time since I've done a context and explaining a context and how it's related to a novel, so I'm really excited to do this, and here we go. So the novel takes place in the 60s. Now the 60s is full of political activity, civil rights movement, right? We know that due to a lot of activism during that time, even feminism and all. But it was also a time for Chinese and immigrants and minorities to speak out, and Chinese people are no strangers to this. And keep in mind that you have to keep that the relationship between Americans and Chinese hasn't always been, let's say, smooth. There have been in the past some acts, some exclusion acts that were enacted that stopped Chinese people from coming to America, just like the Exclusion Act of 1882 and 1923, and a lot of exclusion acts that stopped Chinese immigrants from entering the United States. Now, a lot of people would say that it's due to the fact that Chinese people stole the jobs of the Americans, and that's why it was not allowed anymore. Maybe there were some instances of xenophobia, we don't know, but let's just play it on that side. And this plays a lot in the novel because Mona, who is the main character here, and she's the one telling us her story. So this story comes in the shape of episodes, and each episode is related or not related, but it speaks about a topic, a different topic, an issue, and they're all related to her coming of age, adolescence, teenagerhood, problems, identity, politics, and a lot of thoughts, that teenagers face during that time, because it's a question of identity and trying to figure out who you are truly. But dear Mona here complicates the issue even more because she decides to take on another identity, which is the Jewish identity, and this is how we get the name Promised Land, because it's reference to a Jewish idea. So now Mona becomes in the place of many intersections because now she has to face society. Now she has to face her parents who are Chinese and strict Chinese who are working so hard to be accepted and fit in the American mold. But then you have also the Jews and the rabbi and all of that, the Jewish community, who does not really see her as Jewish because she integrated herself and she was not born Jewish. So you see, there are a lot of things that she has to figure out to find out who she is and find out her identity. So it's really an interesting book to read, and you find all of that inside of this novel. Yeah. So usually I talk in this part about movies, but I haven't seen any movie about Mona in the Promised Land, unfortunately. Oh yes, and another idea I have to mention, that so this is like a sequel to another novel that Gushin wrote in 1991, which is typical American. And as it seems, the story talks about Mona and Kelly's parents, Helen and Rolf, who tell their story before coming to America. So I think this is like a sequel to that story. But don't worry, it doesn't change much because this is a book on its own, and it talks about Mona's journey and her attempt at finding who she is as a teenager and as a person in the world. So yeah, that was my book review for today. Hope you read this book, hope you enjoy it, and if you like it, please share your comments and your feedback. Bye!